What led to famed Las Vegas lounge singer Tony Clifton getting fired from and subsequently kicked off the set of Taxi in the 1970s? Well, in part, it was the fact that he didn't exist. Or did he? He didn't. Actually, he did. Sort of. In 1978, comedian and performance artist Andy Kaufman made an impression on the producers of Taxi, with an act he frequently performed at the Comedy Store. The Foreign Man, as Kaufman called him, was a meek, mild-mannered, high-pitched character that blurred the line between reality and fiction for the audiences that saw him, something Kaufman would become well known for in a similar way to Sacha Baron Cohen and Nathan Fielder today. More like Fielder, however, Kaufman's audiences were undecided on what about the comedian's personality was real or not, in the same way that Fielder today is rarely seen out of character.
Are you constantly getting sick? Do you have migraine headache hitting you all the time?
I do have one thing, but
What?
it's kind of private, personal.
All right.
It's a hemorrhoid.
Yeah, that's demonic.
Kaufman usually kept his audiences out of the joke, pranking them in ways that were often only funny to him in the moment.
You're my friend. I will sue you for everything you have. I will sue your You're a as far as I'm concerned. You hear me?
The Foreign Man would bomb at the stand-up mic and perform terrible celebrity impressions to crickets before suddenly breaking out in a spot-on Elvis bit and bringing the house down.
Well, it's a one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready, now go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe.
The producers of Taxi wanted to turn the Foreign Man into a recurring character named Latka on their new sitcom. Kaufman hated sitcoms. More performance artist than comedian, he saw the format as restrictive and extremely lowbrow comedy. His manager, Seinfeld's George Shapiro, convinced him to do it, suggesting he could take the money earned and pour it into his own shows, which he eventually did. He signed on to 14 episodes a season under one condition, that his friend, Las Vegas lounge singer Tony Clifton, be given the opportunity to guest star on one episode. Tony Clifton was Andy Kaufman's alter ego, that began as a more simple character, clearly Andy behind the mustache and makeup, and quickly evolved into a less recognizable caricature. A brash, rude, inconsiderate, foul-mouthed, tuxedo-clad hack who thought he was the greatest gift to the world of entertainment.
Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-die, stick a needle in your eye. Let's get some straight, people. I play a lot of the big showrooms in Vegas. I need this place like I need a shotgun blast to the face.
Kaufman worked hard to maintain the illusion that Clifton was real, portraying him under prosthetics and heavy sunglasses. And for a brief time, Clifton's authenticity was actually believed, until people began catching on to Kaufman's penchant for reality-bending performances. Still, he never publicly admitted to being the brash singer. To maintain the illusion, Kaufman would sometimes have his friend and business partner Bob Zmuda play Tony Clifton in secret, during which Kaufman would make surprise appearances to show that the two could, in fact, be in one place at the same time. Clifton's Vegas routine included claiming to have sold more records than the Beatles and Elvis combined, never finishing a song, singing off-key with the incorrect lyrics, and berating patrons, passing off his abuse as good comedy. Of course, Clifton was never meant to be really funny. Kaufman always seemed to be more interested in genuine human reaction, whatever form that may be in the moment. And Tony Clifton was the perfect vehicle for this. He appeared on Letterman, The Fantastic Miss Piggy Show, and The Merv Griffin Show, as well as many, many public appearances. But back to Taxi, the producers agreed to Kaufman's strange request. Even more surreal, the cast was in on it, well aware that Tony Clifton was Andy Kaufman. It's Andy, but it's not Andy, just play along, was their instruction. And so they did. While true to character, Tony Clifton was terrible to work with, showing up to work late, appearing drunk and belligerent. On top of all of that, Clifton was a terrible actor. Or rather, Kaufman portrayed Clifton as terrible. The producers discussed the situation with Andy and made it clear that they could not include the lounge singer in an episode. Kaufman's response? Fire Clifton in front of the cast. Make it public. Following the yarn of just how far a gag can go, Kaufman showed up as Clifton the next day, late, intoxicated, with 2 escorts on either arm. He then proceeded to claim he had major rewrites for the episode. As cast member Danny DeVito recalls, he stank, like I can't even defame the names of the perfumes that it smelled like. His behavior, practical joke or not, slowly enraged cast members like Judd Hirsch and Jeff Conaway, who found the entire thing unprofessional. Tony Danza was on set with his Super 8 camera and captured the entire incident, although this footage has allegedly never been seen publicly. Bob Zmuda was also on set, taking photos, along with the press, who had been arranged by Kaufman to witness the chaos. Upon his public firing, Tony Clifton blew up into a tirade that got physical, eventually resulting in him being escorted by security off the set. Kaufman showed up the next day as himself, acting as though nothing had happened. The mythology of Tony Clifton has been kept up long after Andy Kaufman's passing. In 1999's Man on the Moon, he is portrayed by Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman, as well as Paul Giamatti as Bob Zmuda, although he is credited as himself. In many ways, Kaufman made Tony Clifton a real person. It just depends who's behind the sunglasses. At a press conference for Man on the Moon in 1999, a Kaufman-esque gag was pulled off when Tony Clifton interrupted Jim Carrey, causing another scene of mayhem. To this day, Tony Clifton still makes the occasional appearance. It was reportedly Kaufman's deathbed wish to Bob Zmuda that Tony Clifton be kept alive. And amidst the chaos and confusion, whether by Zmuda or countless impersonators, the enigmatic persona of Tony Clifton lives on, a testament to the boundary-pushing genius of Andy Kaufman.
Kaufman's been using my name to get places.
And so there is no truth to the rumor that you're actually Andy Kaufman?
There's no truth to that rumor whatsoever.